Let's talk about the swim today. This is probably the most intimidating aspect of triathlon, especially for new triathletes who are coming from a non swimming background, which makes up most of us, myself included. And in today's video, we're going to cover how I was able to shave off 10 minutes for my Ironman swim and the two drills that I would recommend that you incorporate in your training so that you can do the same. Let's get into it. Full disclosure, before I even begin to give you any tips, I need you to know that I am no swim expert and I don't even play one on TV. Everything that I have learned about swimming, I have learned in the last several years of my life. I grew up like most kids going to the lake on weekends or going to pool parties, and I thought that I knew how to swim until I tried to race, until I tried to do swimming in a triathlon. And it really struck me that I had no idea what I was doing. Like most new triathletes, my story is pretty much the same. That the first time I went to a lap pool and tried to swim 25 yards, I thought that was the hardest thing that I'd ever tried to do. And that shows in my first ever triathlon because I did a sprint that was simply a 500-yard swim in open water in a lake. And as you can tell by this Strava that I've saved for whatever reason, I swam embarrassingly slow, well over 3 minutes per 100. And I remember having a full blown panic attack in the water, thinking that I was going to drown, that I was going to have a heart attack, that something terrible was going to happen to me. And that was my first experience in the water. And so, whenever I talk to you about where I'm at now with my swimming, I want you to know that I understand what it's like to begin. I understand what it's like to go through those fears of thinking I'm going to die, go through those fears of having panic in the open water. And I want you to know that if that's where you're at today, that there is hope, and that with consistent training and the right kind of training, you can see some great improvements within your own swim training and within your racing. So my first full distance Ironman was in 2020. I did Ironman Florida in 2020. I was one of the fortunate ones to get to do a full distance Ironman during that year because of COVID. I believe it was the only North American race that actually took place in 2020. And so I count myself very lucky to be a part of that. And in that Ironman, I had the same fears that I had whenever I had my first sprint triathlon. Just looking out at the marked course and seeing how far it was, and that I was going to have to do that loop twice, it was paralyzing to me to look out to that. And I thought for sure that there was no way that I was going to be able to accomplish it. But I did. And what I learned is that after a few years of consistent swim training and going back last year in 2023 and doing the same course again, I was able to shave off more than 10 minutes of my Ironman swim. You can see in 2020, I'll put those stats up here of what my swim time was and my average pace at that time. And then in the most recent Ironman in 2023, here was my swim time. And what I want you to see about that is not only did my average pace drop and my overall time go down by more than 10 minutes, but whenever I came up out of the water this last time, I didn't feel completely thrashed. I didn't feel as if I had nothing left in the tank. In fact, I felt pretty energized and pretty refreshed. And so I want to share with you the two main drills that I attribute to the improvements that I've been able to see in my swim training, and what I would recommend that you would do if you are looking to see some improvements as well. Okay, so the first drill that we're going to be talking about that I believe has made a huge impact in helping me to improve in my swim is a drill that I learned from Taryn from Motive. You can check out all of his training plans, which are phenomenal, at mymotive.com. And I'll be sure and put a link in the description below. If you are not familiar with him and with his triathlon plans, you should definitely give them a look. Solid training. And this is a drill that I believe is mostly responsible for my improvements in the swim. And that drill is known as snorkel band pull. It sounds weird for us non swimmers. Now, this is the drill that I believe has helped me more than any other drill. And it's pretty simple. It's as simple as it sounds. What you need is first, you need a snorkel. This is a snorkel that I use. It's a Finnis snorkel. And I'll try to get a link in the description below for this particular model as well. And this is the first time that I ever used a snorkel in the pool. In fact, if you have never used a snorkel before, just prepare yourself that it's going to take a little getting used to, where you feel like you're out of breath and you're not sure that you can keep up with this. But give it some time, give it several sessions, maybe even up to a couple of weeks, and then you'll feel comfortable with it, and it'll be as if the snorkel's not even there. But wearing the snorkel really helps you not have to focus so much on turning to breathe, but focusing really on the front part of your stroke and making sure that you get that early vertical forearm that all of the swimmers talk about. And it just helps you to engage your mind as you're swimming. And so, one of the things that you need for snorkel band pull is a snorkel. And then the second thing that you're going to need is a band. Now, you can buy swimmer's bands, or you can do what I did and take an old bicycle tube that you're not using anymore and cut it up and tie a knot in it and slip this around your ankles. And slip this around your ankles and then take a pull buoy, that's something that looks just like this, and stick this between your knees. And the combination of these three things, of having a snorkel as well as having a pull buoy between your knees and a band on your ankles, what that really does is it helps you with your body positioning as well as body awareness. Not only does it help you keep your legs up near the surface of the water so that you're going, you're floating on top of the water instead of dragging your legs through it. That's one of the main benefits of this drill. But for me, what I found is that it really helped me become aware of my body. That I was real wobbly, and so you'll notice that if you've never done this drill before, that it feels like you're disjointed as you're swimming through the water. And what that causes you to do is really tighten up your core and learn how to swim streamline. And I believe that this drill, maybe above any other swim technique that I've done, has contributed to the improvement in my own personal swim times. All right, number two, the second swim drill that has helped me the most involves a ball. Now, it's not often that a ball can help you with swim, but this is a really interesting technique that I was taught that I believe has helped me a lot. And I actually would use a racquetball whenever I was using this in the pool, but a tennis ball is all that I had laying around. But you'll get the concept with this. I found that this tennis ball actually helped me with my body positioning almost as much as the drill of snorkel band pull, helping me to learn how I'm supposed to feel as I am swimming on top of the water. Every time that I would have somebody take a video of me as I was swimming above the water, I never had the underwater footage, but as somebody would take a video of me from the side or from the front, what I would see almost every time that somebody recorded me was that my head position was always tilted up more than I felt like it was. I had a tendency of trying to look further down the lane than what I thought I was doing. I thought I was looking almost straight down at the lane line, but in reality, whenever I would watch the video, my head was further up. Now, why that's important is, let's pretend that this is your body, okay? All triathletes understand what it's like to have these laying around. Let's pretend that this is your body, and your body is a straight line, and you want that straight line to be on top of the water. But if your head is slightly tilted up, well, just naturally, your lower body is going to be dragging through the water, causing much more resistance as you're trying to learn how to swim and trying to swim faster, making it actually much harder for you to cover the same distance and to go the same speed. And so, in order to help my body positioning, to keep me from allowing my head to go up a little higher than it should be as I was looking further down the lane line, causing my lower body to drag through the water, is I would take a ball similar to a tennis ball or a racket ball, and I would place it beneath my chin while swimming, and I would have to hold it like that. And if I allowed that ball to slip out from underneath my chin, then I knew that I was moving my head up too far. Now, that is an extremely annoying drill where I can't tell you the number of times that I would have to stop in the middle of the lane to go back and to get the ball because I got my head out of position. But after doing that 3 days a week for weeks on end, I finally was able to train my head to be in the right position. So those two drills, I believe, are responsible for the improvements that I've seen in the swim. But if you are like I was just a few years ago and you're just starting out in triathlon, the swim is so intimidating. And I want you to know that if you're struggling in the water, uh, get a coach, get a good training program. If you're struggling in triathlon, if you're just getting started, or maybe you've been swimming for years and you still feel like you're not getting any improvements, I would recommend highly that you would incorporate these two drills within your swim training and see if it helps you in the same way that it helped me. If this video has been helpful for you, or if you enjoyed the content, I'd encourage you to give me a like and give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and be sure and subscribe, as it helps this channel as I'm just getting started making these videos. And let me know what kind of content you would like to see. Until next time, happy training, happy racing, and always remember to be grateful that you have the health that you have so that you can do this great sport.